recording. Start streaming.
Awesome. We're live.
And we are live on YouTube and Twitch, hopefully.
This is going to be an Apple stream, seems like
yes,
today.
a lot of Apple topics.
Which is
hey, we're live.
fantastic, because I did not watch the Apple event. I meant to, and I never did.
Yeah, I totally watched it.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. I did use an Apple device today, though. For 8 hours.
Good Lord.
Yep.
People are optimistic about the Apple Arcade. I see a lot of articles about how good it is. I got a lot of one reasons why it's not good.
Oh, it's great.
Apple TV. Apparently, it's
Apple
going
TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus. I don't know the difference, but apparently the Plus has a really strong hold in the market. I see what they're doing, and it's pretty sneaky. I like it.
Yeah.
Password managers, not so safe. Shocking. I feel like
the bug got patched. Don't worry about it.
yeah, I feel like we just talked about how insecure these are, and then it got patched before we got to the topic. So it's all great.
Mm-hmm. Sounds cool, but haven't read about it.
Oh yeah, I hope you read
talk
that
about
article.
that one.
I meant to read it, and then I got stuck with dinner.
Yeah, I don't think it's what you were thinking of.
Oh, okay.
But we'll talk about it.
Cool.
It has to do with AI.
Facebook gets caught being creepy. One good reason to have iPhone users, I guess, is that they get some weird notifications sometimes.
Esports athletes. We'll talk about it.
This was more like a lightning round type topic. I saw it and I was like, that's pretty funny.
We may be able to go more in depth on it.
Okay, cool. More Apple. Their iPad looks pretty good, actually.
And reasonably priced.
Which is weird because I was looking at buying an iPad soon.
Huh. I'll have to ask about that.
Yeah, definitely.
The iPhone 11 Pro is stronger than bread. Definitely a lightning topic.
Oh, you stuck that one in there.
Yes, I did one of the topics tonight.
Motorola Razr phone. Lenovo is putting in some really ugly folding phone patents that don't look like the 3D models Razr was putting out.
Electric bicycles, Microsoft Power Toys, Wi-Fi 6, and no more health insurance for some Whole Foods employees.
A small percentage of Whole Foods employees.
Yes, a small percentage. And, great Christmas gift ideas just in time for Christmas.
Yep.
A few months early. Give you time to
about
order
2 weeks.
online and get them shipped. And employees sharing about their experience working at Google can now speak out.
While still being employed and wanting to keep their job?
In theory. Let's start it off from the top. The big thing this week was definitely Apple.
That Apple event.
Yep. So their Apple Arcade is going to be releasing later this month, I believe on the 19th.
This is over at Gizmodo.
Yes. It's going to be $5 a month. They will be releasing over 100 games that are exclusive to their Apple Arcade subscription service. One notable thing about this service is that there's going to be no microtransactions and no real world money to in-game money.
Yep.
So you can't buy in-game currencies.
So it is actually $5 a month, and it's not $5 a month to get access to the game.
Plus all the boosts and benefits and all that stuff.
Which I do really like that model.
Yes, I definitely like that as well.
This sounds like a great model to get consumers on there.
Yes.
I don't know how these businesses are going to stay in business. You would have to have a lot of consumers playing your game for it to make sense, I would think. One thing I'm curious on how they're splitting up the money.
That is a good question. And a similar question is kind of like how YouTube Red splits up their money.
Yeah.
The YouTube channels that get more views from YouTube Red subscribers make a bigger percentage of that money. So I'm curious if that's how they'll do it for this as well.
If it's times you open and close the app versus playtime versus what level your characters get.
Or how far you actually make it in the game.
Yeah, so I don't see this being successful in a long term.
Okay,
commitment.
this poor business model. I was actually thinking about the Apple TV Plus.
This is also a poor business model.
Yes.
On the other hand, games like Flappy Bird or those other like Temple Run, like those games that don't need that much programming, those simpler type style games.
Yeah.
That makes sense here. Those time wasting games.
Do I need to pull this out?
Is it tight?
Or does it pull it itself?
Pull it a little bit. Is it really tight?
Not terribly tight.
Cool. It's good then. Yeah,
We're running a 3D print, or Jacob's running a 3D print, so making sure it's got enough filament in there.
but yeah, one thing I don't even know where I was in that sentence, but
I don't know.
yeah.
But some of the games were actually made available to some journalists the past week. 8 of the games. And supposedly they were pretty decent. But it'd really be a bummer if those were the only good games.
Yeah.
And the other
And the other ones are like
plus
Fruit Ninja
trash.
and that.
Yeah.
Those time wasting.
Fruit Ninja's fun. So we'll see how the games end up being. So here's the Apple TV Plus. And the only reason I differentiate it from the Apple TV is, at least according to my knowledge, the box, like a Chromecast or like a Fire Stick.
Okay.
Whereas the Amazon or the Apple TV Plus is the streaming service.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yep. So Apple is releasing another new item in addition to the arcade and all their hardware items. The Apple TV Plus, which is going to be a $5 video streaming service.
So now you can almost think that every Apple consumer is going to be giving them $10 a month. 5 for games, 5 for TV movies. Except for the one paragraph in this article here.
Yes. So if you buy a Mac, either a laptop or a desktop, an iPad, an iPhone, then you get 1 free year of the
TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus. So they're trying to get people hooked.
Yep.
And that way they continue their subscription.
And the thing is, I know people who buy the new iPhone year over year.
Yep.
And then that'd be free Apple TV.
And this will also be good numbers for Apple.
It'd be big.
It's another statistic to tout that, hey, we've got this many people on our streaming service.
One thing I'm curious is if the TV Plus it has a family option like Netflix does, where you can have 3 or 4 people. So instead of having to buy a new iPhone every year, you can get a new iPhone every 3 years. But then you alternate
for each member of the family.
So like, I get 11,
interesting.
they get 12, the next person gets 13, I'd get 14, and then rotate it.
Or if you buy an iPhone, then a MacBook, and then
Yeah.
an iPad, and that'd be interesting. And for a little bit of context, they're saying that this could make Apple the second highest video streaming service out there. Maybe they're talking about paid video streaming service. So last year, Apple sold around 280 million units, different devices, whether it's desktops or MacBooks or iPhones. And in the article on, Forbes, they did some math and said about half the people would use this service, and there might be other people that would buy this service, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
They mathed it down to estimating that about 125 million people would subscribe to this per month, in comparison to Netflix, which has 150 million paid subs per month, and YouTube, which has, according to YouTube, 2 billion monthly users.
Okay. One thing I'd be really...
Now, YouTube is free.
Yeah.
But
curious
that's
with the...
an insane difference. I wonder how much YouTube Red subscriptions there are.
I can't imagine there's that too many. I would be curious on how well this sells for Christmas, for moving tech people moving their grandparents or parents over, because Apple is famous for the simplistic, easy to understand interface.
Yes.
Everything's big, beautiful icons. And I'm curious if we're going to see a bigger bump in Apple TVs with the holiday season coming around, where they can cut the $70 cable TV bill and then pay $5 a month.
Yeah. And then Apple's also putting money into getting exclusive content as well. It looks like, I think they said they put $6 billion toward
every mega corporation is going to also be a TV producing company.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Gotta have that exclusive content, though. So I feel like we had just talked about password managers and how much I dislike them.
We did.
It's almost like I hunted down this article.
Did you?
Surprisingly not. So this one came from Digital Trends. I think it was posted somewhere else first, but Wall Street Journal or something kept throwing ads everywhere. So found on Digital Trends.
Gotcha.
LastPass had a little bit of a accident, and looks like people are able to get back into your LastPass account by showing the most recent password.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how they did it, but something about if you were on a website and then you went to a Google service or something like Google Translate, they could access your most recently used password or the password from the previous website.
Which is super weird.
Yes.
But on the good news,
they fixed it.
they've already fixed it. So still change your password manager's password to be safe. And
Yes.
then deactivate your account.
And then get a sticker.
Yep. Put a little sticky note right on the top of your laptop screen.
Yep.
And that's how you keep security. So this super cool article that I meant to read and then I decided to eat dinner. Looks like you read it because there's notes.
Talk about it. I'm just kidding.
You want me to talk about it?
Is it no? Is it what you thought it was going to be about? So this
Is it worth talking about? Not really.
it's kind of interesting. The title of this article, it's from Wired, is Artificial Intelligence Confronts a Reproducibility Crisis. And I guess it's not really that interesting. Basically, the article is very wordy. I didn't even read the whole thing.
So this is over at The Wired.
Yes.
It's not our lovely Verge friends.
That game is Go. Have you ever played Go?
I have.
I've actually wanted to play Go just once, not actually learn it and get good at it.
Yeah.
But it's talked about everywhere that AI is talked about.
It's a very wordy article, so
Yeah.
must not be that interesting.
I'll go over my brief bullet points, but
For your
essentially the article talks about how machine learning systems are black boxes. So the stuff in there is kind of unknown, like we just call it the algorithm, you know?
Yeah.
And nobody really understands
because it's a machine
what they're
writing
talking about.
the code.
But it's saying even the developers don't always know what's going on because they don't properly document their work. So it's hard to kind of reproduce what situations they get in. And if they successfully solve a problem, if they don't have the documentation and the steps that they took to solve the solution written down, then people in the future can't also solve the same problem. Does that kind of make sense?
That does make sense.
So there's a professor at McGill, Joël Pineux, probably pronounced that wrong, who is kind of coming up with some standards for research and how you should share information about machine learning and artificial intelligence so that things can be reproduced easier and just helps with collaboration.
So I unfortunately can't find it, but there's one YouTuber who talked about how instead of writing how a human should write AI, humans should write an AI to make AI. And so we won't understand how the actual AI works, but we'll be able to control the AI's controller.
Okay.
I wanted to say it was like CGP Grey or something, but I can't find it right now.
Yeah, Joe Rogan recently did a podcast with a guy who's big into AI. I watched it. It was kind of interesting.
I love watching Code Bullet,
Yeah, Code Bullet's pretty good.
but he puts a lot of dark humor into his videos, so it's one of those.
Yeah.
You have to like dark humor and coding to like him.
Speaking of dark humor,
I don't know how this is funny.
Facebook gets caught. I guess just dark.
Yeah.
Facebook gets caught being creepy with iOS users.
Agree with everybody, I believe, but iOS was the screenshot here.
Gotcha.
So apparently, from my understanding, is that Facebook Mobile is asking for Bluetooth access, and it's finding other Bluetooth devices near yours, and it's a way to find like, oh, my my phone found your phone.
So
And
it's like
we were next to each other.
mapping social circles and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
So I guess one thing this would be really cool for, here's that iPhone picture there,
yes.
is that we could be in the same building, but we could not be talking. We could be on other sides of a gymnasium or something.
Yeah.
And so we could find out that, like, hey, Jesse and I like talking to each other because we're within 30 feet. I mean, we're within Bluetooth pairing distance.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of people don't like their Bluetooth magically being turned on
Yes.
and draining their battery.
Yes.
But, yeah, I saw that. I almost leave my Bluetooth off 24/7.
Yeah. Because it
turn it-
does drain battery.
Yeah. And I even go as far as when I get into the car is I turn off my Wi-Fi.
Oh.
And I get
That
like,
also drains battery.
yeah, I get like 2 days out of my phone battery.
But why? You can just recharge it.
I have to plug it in. Just
Yeah.
charge cycles. It's only good so many charge cycles. I can
Probably.
squeeze out a couple more years. Yeah, so Facebook asks for Bluetooth access. Just say no. Don't accept candy from strangers.
Deny them.
So I saw this. I had to put it in there. I'm not sure
Okay.
if it's even worth talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have anything to say about it. But apparently a Hearthstone Grandmaster, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Sorry, dude. Lost a Grandmaster game while trying to also play auto chess, which is just a chess game, I believe.
Have you ever played auto chess?
I've never even heard of it.
I've heard of auto chess, but I've never played it. I've never really understood what it is. I think it's different than regular chess. I looked it up briefly, and it said something about Dota. Have you played Dota?
No.
Have you heard of Dota?
I've heard of it.
Dota's
Never
kind of like League of Legends. Have you played League of Legends?
Oh,
I haven't
wow.
played any of these
It looks
games.
nothing like chess.
Yeah. Can you share it?
Yeah. Auto chess. I was expecting like chess.
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't tell us much.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I actually